Hey, Ceciltron.
Hey, Fridurmus, how you doing?
I am doing probably alright, but I'm not sure yet.
Well, I know for me, I've got a bit of a cold. I'm under the weather, so, I'm gonna stick to my traditional treatment. Powdered rhino horn and leaf of cocaine.
Guangxi, terror of the Far East, tormented in the underworld for thousands of years, feeding on nothing but their hatred, their bitterness planning their revenge. When the gates of hell open, the Guangxi come forth, an undead army at their back and all of Hong Kong at their mercy.
That was the worst movie of all time. Who makes up this stuff?
Hey, Wei. Niece, don't make fun of the Guangxi. Night like this, they might be on their way.
Uncle Salty has a thing for the supernatural.
Don't Uncle Salty me. This is Hong Kong. Magic crawls through this town like maggots on month-old roadkill.
Uncle?
Well, you see any walking corpses, you give me a call.
Yeah, give him a call, asshole!
What the hell?
The gates of hell are open! And the Sun On Yi will pay for what they've done!
Stop! Hey, stop!
If someone's your age, you'll call them brother or sister if they're a stranger or something. But, I don't know. Maybe they're family. I mean, we talked over Salty talking anyway, so I feel guilty.
That's okay. That's what editing is for.
That's good.
In the meantime, there's this asshole. Now, we don't know anything about this guy yet.
Okay,
You'll find
well-
out pretty quick that his name is Smiley Cat because the game's UI elements give it away long before the plot does.
Yeah. And, so basically, I'll say, guys, whoever's listening, I lived in China for a little bit, and I've watched a lot of Chinese vampire movies, and I just love that bug.
It's so great. He just stands there running into the wall and taunting you.
And then I love that this happened to me once, and you had the same thought process. It
Didn't work, though.
It never works. It doesn't work, because the thing's scripted to open.
I suppose it's good that it's not tied to physics, because then it could swing back and, like, block you.
Yeah. Well, imagine if they used the Havoc physics engine or something. You'd have bodies flying through doors, and...
Just that one gate would swing back and forth about 20 times.
Yeah, like it would have been oiled or something.
So you were saying...
Yeah, so I'm not exactly an expert in Chinese mythology or anything like that. But I know a bit about the pop culture surrounding it, and I've looked a little bit into it, and I know we were both looking at a book about Chinese kind of spirits and mythology and stuff before. I know you went out and actually got it, yeah.
It's worth reading. I'm not done with it yet, but
Yeah,
what I've read has been very good.
Yes, the book's called Tales from a Chinese Studio, and it's pretty old. It's a couple hundred years old, if not 1,000.
18th century, 17th
18th century? Yeah.
or so.
Because
Somewhere
most
around
of
there.
these stories date from that kind of era, but like Chinese classics have a very long and entertaining history.
Wait, get me out of this thing! Get me out of this thing! This is just the start! I've waited 30 years for this.
Old Salty Crab is just such a good character.
And then there's these assholes.
Right, so these guys are basically the traditional vampire of China is the hopping vampire. And so they're called... I'm gonna massacre the tones here, and but it's Jiangshi in Mandarin. And in Cantonese, you heard it in the intro, is Gongxi, or Jiangxi, or... Oh god, I can't do Cantonese. But essentially, they're always depicted in the funeral clothes of, I think, the Qing dynasty. I'm not entirely certain. But basically that's what they do. They hop up and down, their hands always point forward, they have long nails, and they have, like, sharp teeth. And basically, when the dead are buried improperly, or not revered, they get hungry. And this is something we'll probably see later in the game, since I've played through it a little bit. But basically, the dead are hungry. So, the Gongxi, they're always going for the face, because they want to suck the life out of living, literally the breath. At least that's the story from Mr. Vampire, my favorite Chinese vampire movie.
Oh, I still need to watch that. You did link me to it, though.
It is so good. It features probably my favorite I want to say kung fu actor. Man is a beautiful unibrow. Just absolutely amazing. It is so
Seen it. It's
bushy
so good.
and full.
I have to post a picture of that unibrow and the rest of it, but mostly the unibrow. In the thread.
You should, and really, it's a series of about 5 movies, I think, including remakes, and for the most part, they're great. They're a lot of fun, and the comedy, it's a comedy horror, was what that whole genre started. The Chinese vampire doesn't really have. I mean, there are horror movies about him, but they're mostly comedy horror, is what you get coming out of Hong Kong in the late 80s and early 90s. With really good kung fu.
Right. It's basically the reason that this exists is because it's such a classic part of Hong Kong film industry, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
It's like an entire genre of movies that basically flow like this game pack does.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this is probably one of my favorite expansions for anything. Just it's a fun thing.
Have you seen others? Big one. They call him Smiley something.
It's just, and also the thing that I really like about it is, yeah, they take away a bunch of your abilities, and then that kind of sucks because they're putting you. I'm not 100% sure. Like, you see, eventually Jackie's dead, and the game does point that out at one point, but at the same time, Old Salty Crab's still doing business with Wei. It's kind of. Well, I'm not 100% on where this is supposed to take place.
My understanding is that, special situations warrant special results,
Yeah,
like,
but, I mean...
I don't know, it seemed to make sense to me when it happened.
Honestly, with the way that the main game ends, and then, just Old Salty being Zhang's driver, it makes sense that he'd at least maintain some kind of friendly terms with Wei, I think.
Well, don't forget, Old Salty's character, he's just this guy, and he's the best. So the best guy gets to do whatever he wants, and that includes warning the young'uns about Chinese vampires. But I like the callback scene here because, we're basically right at the first mission, right?
Yep. I'm gonna end it the same way I ended it originally, too.
Nice.
God, I love that environmental kills work on those
It
things.
is, yeah. Oh God, without them, you just have to endlessly mash punching.
Let her go.
I don't think so, Wei Shen. I heard you were stupid, but I didn't realize how much the boys were downplaying it. Don't mind us. We have somewhere to be, but you keep going. You're probably used to playing with yourself by now.
Fuck.
Oh, did I do that a little early? Did I spoil it?
You're fine. It's not like the
okay.
game keeps it a secret. So
Right.
before we get back to that, just real quick, I want to point out everybody's eyes are glowing. Everybody's all
Yeah.
bloody. So my assumption here is that most of these people are the dead walking the earth.
Correct.
Okay.
The thing is, people, if I remember correctly, during the Ghost Festival, or whatever this is, people leave offerings out and then stay inside. They stay the fuck inside. And that's when all the ghosts and stuff are supposed to come out, because, doing their thing. And that's what you got. You've got ghosts and the possessed and the dead who are just like, oh, we're back. But also, I think that there's a bit of a, narrative thing, in here where there's a reason all the ghosts and stuff are coming back and possessing people and doing shit.
Now, why... That's not the only person that we're going to run into where they just walk up to Wei and try and attack him really badly. There's a few more of them up here.
My
Also, cars
understanding-
explode.
Oh no, that's the best thing. This is just Cars Explode, the DLC, and you see them, like, people, the possessed people driving, crashing. It's really confusing, but it's great. I mean, look, we got my favorite guy.
Vincent? I thought you were dead.
I am dead. And it's a drag, let me tell you. I've been craving noodles for I don't know how long. By the way, I think you've got a problem out back.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know. One minute I'm down there, the next I'm up here. So I thought, what the hell? Might as well grab some soup. You guys could leave an offering for a brother now and then, you know? Check out back.
See, this actually ties into a really important part of traditional Chinese folklore and mythology, the afterlife. In the afterlife, in traditional Chinese culture, basically ancestors, people you cared about, the important thing is to sweep their tombs and to leave offerings. And these were usually burned offerings. So you would burn symbolic paper money for them to use in the afterlife. Even in modern China now, you get people burning cardboard cell phones, iPhones, and cardboard cars, so that their ancestors, you know, who are dead,
Can have an iPhone and
exactly in the
Miata
afterlife.
or Maserati or whatever.
Yep.
A Miata.
So look at the model of this.
So what is this
monster.
exactly? He's got like arms for shoulder blade things.
It's a Yao Guai, right? Yao Guai
Right.
is pretty much the catch-all word for demon, right?
Okay, I remember this word. There was a,
Yeah.
a thing in one of the Fallout games.
Yeah, that's
Used
right.
that.
That's right, because they're the mutated monsters, is what the Chinese called them, right? Now, the word guai is ghost, or demon, I think. Because in Cantonese, guailo is white demon, and it's used to talk about foreigners. Specifically, Western foreigners.
Okay.
So it's interesting, you know, the way the words tie together. So I'm pretty sure Yao Guai is Yao demon. I can't remember what Yao is, and Cantonese isn't my strong point.
Okay, so we're going. Now that we've learned about that thing, we need to learn how to kill it.
Dead people are like that. He's supernatural, Wei. 僵屍啊嘛，係真係啊。Now you're gonna need Chinese magic to beat him. Go see Hou Fa Wu. He's got the best magic tea in the city. Oh, are you shitting me? You just try to punch out an undead creature, huh? And you think I'm kidding? 黐線嘅真係啊！
Old Salty Crab is an absolute hero of the people.
It's so good.
What the hell?
Get used to that, by the way.
I can pretty much show up anywhere.
You know what's going on?
Sure. Smiley Cat is
Actually,
trying to take
the
over.
ghost is really an interesting character in Chinese mythology, in that usually their spirits tied to places. There aren't really reasons usually why they're still around. Sometimes it's, you know, their burial whatever wasn't done properly, but they're usually just interested in living the way normal people do. But they're not able to do it because they're ghosts.
Right.
So, you know, like, you get ghosts trying to have romantic affairs with people, trying to, you know, like, go to parties, you know, just trying to live. Because that's what the dead do. They come back, they're like, hey, I want to live again.
Yeah, I want to get some soup, you know?
Yeah, no, and look, the thing is, if your ancestors and the dead don't get offerings, you know, of food, of incense, you know, it feeds them, they get hungry, and that's why they come back to torment the living, because they haven't been fed in the afterlife. So part of the piety towards the dead is to feed them so that they don't bug you.
So they're basically cats, is what you're telling me.
More or less. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to have to tell me the authenticity of this ingredient list.
Magic? I got 2 for 1 sale today.
Chang's here overrunning the city.
No kidding. I'm Hao Fat Lao, not Blind Lao. You want to defeat them, you're going to need my specialty. I need 3 ingredients. Ghost pepper, the egg of an albino hen, and antifreeze.
Antifreeze,
The
yeah.
good stuff, not that crap they
Ghost
sell
pepper.
on the mainland. Be careful, Wei. The 18K
Which
are
I
looking
suppose
for this
explains
stuff
why you
too.
can light things
I
on
hear the
fire,
guys
then.
make the tea themselves.
Well,
Okay.
spice is very important in Chinese cooking, so I understand.
That's why we're going for the ghost pepper. Now, antifreeze kind of
Antifreeze
stands out there.
Antifreeze is a very important component to Chinese medicine.
You hear how Smiley Cat got
Oh,
his
here we go. The
nickname?
game's going to talk about that thing that we already talked about.
Yeah.
When he was
So,
alive, his street name was Big
antifreeze
Strong.
is very important in
Only down
traditional
a couple
Chinese
of the bad
medicine, you were
guys killed
saying.
him on Uncle Po's orders.
Yeah.
They hit him with
Okay.
a bar, then knocked him 42 times.
So what was that?
Put it through the
So please explain, because I think most people aren't going to be intimately familiar with this.
Ponytail didn't even put it
Okay, so Chinese medicine is, well, it's not medicine. I mean, the stuff that did work is, okay. Chinese traditional medicine is a mixed bunch of things, but basically people will put pretty much anything into a powder, capsule, and just take it to try and cure diseases. But the fun thing is, traditional Chinese medicine is a multi-billion-dollar industry in China, and so has a very long and varied history of either killing people or doing absolutely nothing, if you're lucky. And in a lot of cases, we get adulteration on the mainland. I lived in mainland China for about 5 months. And what ended up happening is just that, you know, food, medicine, you don't really trust anything. And we've got a ghost doing Tai Chi right there.
And she wants me to leave the pepper alone, but I need the pepper. I thought this was great. She immediately...
Yeah, it's like a stealth mode vampire. I've never seen them do that before, pretend to be the living.
Well, she wasn't, though, because she had the bloodstains and the glowing eyes. She was, my understanding was that she was just a regular ghost that then became, you know, a vengeful one. I suppose we'll find out more next time.
In the next episode.
Yeah.
That ends abruptly for a second. I'm like, crap, did that not
Yeah,
record?
sorry. Alright,